On today's episode, we welcome Emmy-winning writer of ScreenComment.com, Eric Althoff, to put the 1994 classic Street Fighter to the ultimate test, the nostalgia test. For you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was a Tuesday. Welcome to the Nostalgia Test Podcast, the show where two longtime friends put their mainstream pop culture past to the ultimate test, the Nostalgia Test.
I like man, I should have stayed at Microsoft.
Oh, that was it. First, oh my God, I cannot get.
Or five, what do you say, 4 years of ROTC for this shit or whatever it was.
Yeah.
When he's in the pit.
Oh my God.
All right.
Okay.
Dan, we are here. It's a guest episode. Man, the 90s. 2024. If you're just joining us, guys, like Dan loves to tell everybody, just stop, follow us, subscribe, like all the things. But 2024, we decided it was going to be the 90s. We were going to go to the 90s and we were going to either like destroy our childhood or teenage years or love them. And it's been a wild ride. And then we decided Street Fighter.
Difficult. It's been kind of difficult.
Yeah, I have
There's been some lately ones.
So.
Yes. So let's introduce our guest, Dan.
Absolutely. We have an amazing guest. Actually, we were talking before this, and he told me it's been 2 years that we've been emailing. There's been some issues. Life, people. Podcast life
shit
is
happens.
Difficult, right? So
life's like a box of chocolate. You never know when you're not going to open it for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a great guest, a USC alum as well. You heard in my introduction, Emmy award-winning writer. He hosts an amazing website, ScreenComment.com, and we're gonna plug it out. I'll put it in the show notes. Everything will be there.
I just write for them. I don't actually host it. Yes.
Okay.
Shout out to my buddy Ollie, who lives in Paris and does host the site.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
All right, my bad. But like,
my wife was just in Paris.
Oh,
nice.
There you go. That's a tangent. Okay, so we're here with Eric Althoff. Eric, thank you so much for coming on the podcast tonight.
So happy to be here, gents. Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
It is actually, because there's so many movies that we're going to end up doing in the 90s, and video game to movies are woo. But like, before we get into it, Eric, why don't you tell the audience about yourself, and then we'll talk a little bit, and then we'll just jump right in.
Sure thing. So I'm from your guys' part of the country. I grew up in New Jersey, so I'm a Jersey boy. Went out to USC when I was 17, lived out in LA for a while, worked in publishing and film. I worked on Shop Till You Drop and The Man Show. Remember The Man Show?
Oh, I do remember The Man Show.
Yeah, I worked on it when it was Joe Rogan and Doug Stanhope, so I was on that show. A couple of other things.
Jumping trampoline.
That was it. That was the show. And then through a very circuitous route, I wound up at Hustler Magazine in Beverly Hills for 4 years. Yeah, no shit. Hand to God. I was a writer and an editor over there. And I've got stories that do not make me nostalgic necessarily, but yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah. So then I came back to the East Coast about 15 years ago, New York for a bit, back in Jersey, Illinois. Then I moved to Washington, D.C. to work for a newspaper there about 10 years ago. And that's how I really started getting into movie criticism. And I've always loved Ben movies, worked in some, but I'm like, how does somebody become not Roger Ebert, but how do you get those jobs? And so I was lucky I got to kind of do that job for a while at the Washington Times in DC, going to film festivals and all that. And then I've kind of, when I left that job, I kind of parlayed that experience into writing for Screen Comment now, which is what I'm doing. In addition to a bunch of other things, I work at a PR firm called Promova part-time, and I'm a grad student. I've earned my master's in film studies last year at Tiffin University in Ohio, and I am now pursuing my PhD at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. So love keeping busy.
Yeah.
And
seems that way.
Yeah. I freelance.
And now you're on the podcast.
And now I'm on the podcast. Here's the apotheosis of all that. That was all leading.
Are you working on any projects?
Yes. My documentary partner, we've got something coming up. We're trying to get seed money right now, as everyone else is. But yeah, that's where this little guy came from. A previous film that my documentary partner Dave Kuznicki and I put together, and we're always like, you guys know
what's the name of the film?
So it's called The Red River Flood. Is the name? Yeah, it was about in 1996 or 7, the Red River went to an historic 50-year floodwater and required an evacuation of this entire area. It was the largest evacuation of civilians since the Civil War, if you can believe that.
Wow.
So, and because Dave, my partner, is based in Grand Forks, he was able to open all these archives, get all this archive footage and stuff, and interview survivors of that. So we were able to put that together. And at the 2021 Upper Midwest chapter of the Emmys, we were able to take one home for the team, which is which is fun.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty
All right,
cool.
well, now we're going to get serious with Street Fighter.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I remember when you emailed me, you also had you were doing celebrity interviews. There was a really cool picture on your Instagram where you met Carl Weathers as well. R.I.P. Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
What's that like when you do the interviews? Like how?
Sure.
I would love to hear a little bit about that.
Well, I've been fortunate to meet Jean-Claude Van Damme. Speaking of, I met him once randomly at a Chinese in Chinatown in LA when I was having dinner with a buddy of mine. And then fast forward about 5 years, I got to interview him when he was promoting Pound of Flesh. It was 2015, I guess. Wow. So I spoke to him on the phone for about a half hour, and we talked about all sorts of, because I'm probably about the same age as you guys. So I grew up watching his stuff, Seagal, Schwarzenegger. I wrote my thesis about the action genre. So this is right in my wheelhouse. And so I was lucky that he indulged a couple of my nerdy questions, like how often do you practice your kata now, your martial arts? And because I started in martial arts because of the Karate Kid.
Okay.
Straight the fuck up. And I'm so excited for Cobra Kai final season. I don't know about you guys.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
What a great show. So we're big on no reboots on this podcast. I hate reboots and remakes because no one does it good. And somehow the Cobra Kai people, they did such a good job with it to be nostalgic, but at the same time be new to the point where I'm I'm okay with this. This is how you're supposed to do it. So anyone who's trying to do remakes and reboots, go learn from them because you just haven't done it right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Point Break, terrible. No. I'm not looking Roadhouse shouldn't even be called
Hashtag
Roadhouse.
Not My Dalton. Everyone
not
out
my
there,
Dalton. Hashtag
we know
not
the
my
movie's
Dalton.
coming out, but we got to start that campaign.
I mean, come on.
Hashtag Not My Dalton.
And it looks like I was okay, I could have watched this, but don't call it Roadhouse. Stop it. The guy's an MMA fighter. Get out of town. No. Patrick Swayze looked like a regular dude. All right. And you could mess with Swayze. You can't be a Swayze and be all muscled out like Jake Gyllenhaal. Shut up.
And you can't improve upon the perfection that was the original Roadhouse.
No.
I mean,
I keep saying are they going to have the taking out the Adam's apple scene in this movie?
Hope so.
I mean, you got to.
You have to.
Dan wants the scene of them skinny dipping in the river with the guitar, the guy playing
the blind
musician playing in the back.
Well, it wasn't even. It's there's a lot of things going on that's not that they're not going to have in there.
No,
who's his friend?
I don't know.
Is there going to be a Sam Elliott?
They're not going to have the old dude, right?
No,
it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it.
It's a weird. That's why reboots don't work. I
just said they could have just called it something else,
the Bouncer.
Yeah, the Bouncer.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Straight to Prime, the Bouncer.
Right.
Yeah.
Bury that shit.
And then you wouldn't have anybody like us going, "Oh, fuck that! Why do we gotta have a new Roadhouse?"
I know exactly because I could just be like, "Oh, it's just a new action flick." This could just be another franchise that's called the Bouncer, but you ruined it by calling it Roadhouse.
I have a question. We're gonna have you on again to do a whole thing about other stuff, your whole career stuff and Hollywood things, because I'm already dying to ask you all these other questions, but we have to get to Street Fighter. But I do want to know.
Do we really?
We do, dude.
Well, I will happily come back. Yeah.
But I would love to with the Man Show. what was your role? Were you writer on the Man Show, or were you like?
No, I was actually a locations scout and assistant. So the writers would come to us and say, "Hey, we need a pawn shop for this."
Okay.
So then I basically just we were at Hollywood Center Studios, so Santa Monica and was it La Brea? Is it Dan?
Yeah.
No, yeah, over that way. Highland, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So then I just start in a circle and go out, like call in pawn shop, say, "Hey, can we we'll give you this much money to shut down for the day." Because here was the sketch, and I'm not making this up. Y'all remember Pulp Fiction and Christopher Walken,
Yeah.
This watch was up my ass for 2 years.
Yeah.
What at home? So the writers of the Man Show came up with this idea. What if that character only sold ass watches? It sounds funnier than it was in the end.
Probably.
Yeah. And fortunately they were able to hire Jay Moore to and he does a pretty killer walk-in.
Yeah.
So
wow.
So
that's
yeah,
interesting.
that was that's one of my little Hollywood stories was working finding the ass watch pawn shop.
Nice. That's what you go to USC for, right? Like you get that really good education to go find
exactly.
Mom, guess what I'm doing?
Guess what I'm doing? Oh,
and if she wasn't disappointed by that, then 3 years later I'm working for a pornographer. So
yeah. Hey man, you're paying the bills.
That's absolutely.
Success is success, whatever.
For sure. I mean, that's what gets you to then the Emmy, award-winning documentary, right? I mean, we all, you have to you pay the bills, you do the stuff. I mean, especially as a writer, you have to pick up like positions and get experience in order to show that you're serious in those spaces. But
I'm sure you talk to your students about that all the time, Dan. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, we're gonna have to have you back on. But like,
yeah, man, I'd love to.
Street Fighter movie, 1994, Manny.
Okay, so I always do this is like, the first impression of when we were told this project, like this was going to be our assignment. And I was like, I always go into, okay, what do I remember about this? And I was like, oh, this was a good movie. But then I was like, but I kind of remember it being like cheesy good because I was like young, I was, what was it? It was 94. I can't do math. I was in 81, so I was like 14.
We were like in 7th
13th,
grade, 8th or 7th
right?
grade.
So I'm like, of course I was going to think it was good. It was based on it was a movie based on the video game.
Love that game.
Right? So like, and what can you do? There was no really backstory to the video game, right?
No.
So like someone just had to come up with it. You know how some video games do have a backstory?
Yeah.
I think like Street Fighter is just like a bunch of people fighting.
It's a button smasher.
Like, right. Yeah. It's a button smasher. So like, I remember liking it and I'm like, okay. And it was like, Van Damme,
Mm-hmm.
he was huge in the 90s. Dan, that book, by the way, I started reading.
Oh,
great.
That book is so
good.
Thick.
Oh, what book is this?
The Last Action Heroes by Nick D. Semlin.
Oh, putting that on the list.
Oh, dude.
I probably keep mispronouncing his last name and I feel really bad. Sorry. But
Dan sent me the book.
An amazing
and I finally
book.
started reading it.
And
fantastic.
The JCVD aspects of it are legendary.
It's all about this era.
Yeah.
Of like these guys that just like took over Hollywood.
Yeah.
With the action, like they have the Stallone and Arnold fight. Like I'm just up to that. I'm like, I can't wait
till you get to the Jackie Chan part.
Oh, really? That's
amazing.
Awesome. Yeah.
But,
so
yeah.
So like, I just remember whatever he did was golden, right? So like, you put him on the, you Time Cop. What was it? The other one, Bloodsport.
Bloodsport was earlier.
Yeah, earlier.
Yeah, earlier.
So like. I just remember going, yeah, it was probably good. I'm gonna like it, and then, wow, let's just say this is very interesting.
When you saw it then, or when
then, like I'm just anytime we do these, I'm always like,
you didn't like it then.
No, I remember then I liked it, but I was still like,
this is weird.
This could be better. Like, but then I guess I accepted that. Well, it's a movie about a video game. So how good could it get? Like, let's just think about when these these movies started getting better is right around when Marvel started doing better movies, right? Now you have like they redid Mortal Kombat, and Mortal Kombat is like, I thought it was good. The recent one was a lot better than the original Mortal Kombat when we were kids. I haven't
seen the recent one.
So like, I feel like they were just throwing these out there to get, this was a money grab. This is a money grab, right? You put him in, everybody else doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. Eric,
so I do remember it being, I still remember it going, even as a kid, like, this was a cheesy movie. But like, that was 90s cheesy. Like, I always call it like 80s cheese and 90s trash. And this was 90s trash.
Or 90s.
Stinky nitro. I'm sorry, Dan, you had a question?
No, I was just saying, do you remember seeing this for the first time?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I remember I was at my friend Mike's house. There was a group of about 5 of us that I'm still friends with to this day. We actually do a call on Wednesday nights and talk about a movie. So it's me, my buddy.
That's awesome.
Steve. Yeah, we still do it. My buddy Steve, my buddy Chris, Mike, maybe Sam and Ryan were there too. But those are like our core group of dudes. We all grew up watching these movies. Most of us went to study martial arts. So we're like, okay, we got to watch fucking Street Fighter. So we rented it on VHS and we sat down at my buddy Mike's house on a Saturday. And it was pretty early in the thing. We're all at the same time like, what the actual fuck is happening right now? I remember the exact moment. So I don't know if you guys, when you look back at something you watched when you were a kid, I have flash memories of certain scenes in a movie this is the first time I watched this movie in 30 years.
Yeah.
So I remember like 3 specific things. One is the fake assassination of Van Damme. And like minute 15, they don't even let you sneak up on that. It's like, because let's just talk about that from a screenwriting point of view. Like, if you're gonna fake kill your main character, you're gonna do that at the end of Act 2, not in the middle of Act 1.
Yeah, we just got to know him.
They wrote this.
We didn't even like him yet.
I thought this was over, filmed out of. Obviously, you film something. It's not a linear way when you film a film. I felt like they filmed it. They took how they filmed it and they just put it together in that way, in that edit. They didn't have a beginning, middle, or end. They just were like, and here's the ending.
Yeah, this looks like it's good.
Jumbled garbage in the beginning, the middle.
Dude, I do not. I feel for the editor. Like the editor had to make this. Okay, like there were 1, 2, 3, 4 editors on this. Okay? That's because one guy probably was like, I'm out.
And then the next guy, I'm out.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say this, and this is a huge problem to me. Because Manny, we did the Die Hard episode and it's genius.
Yes.
This movie is written and directed by Steven D'Souza, who wrote and directed Die Hard. He wrote Die Hard.
He wrote Die Hard.
But maybe this is just another money grab.
Well,
bro,
can I tell you guys a quick story that I remember from?
Go ahead, yes.
I remember when this movie was coming out. I used to read this magazine called Cinescape, which is long since not around, but it was for all the nerdy movies that were coming out. But they had an interview with Steven D'Souza. He got a phone call one day from Edward Pressman. The producer said, "Hey, do you think you could have a script for Street Fighter to me by Monday?" And Steven D'Souza's response is, thinking, he'll never agree to this, goes, "Yes, but I get to direct it." Okay, click.
Oh my God.
And that's the money grab, because they're like, it doesn't have to be great. Kids are going to go watch this. We just want to sell more video games, right? That's what this is for.
But if you're going to sell more video games, then have fighting. Okay? Have fighting in this movie.
Didn't have to. It's the 90s.
This movie was Contra the movie. This was Contra.
No, this. Okay. You know what I thought?
That's a fucking movie I want to watch.
Yeah, they should make Contra the movie.
When I was watching this movie, I was like, it's Roger Rabbit meets. What did I say to you today? It's Roger Rabbit meets Indiana Jones meets Spaceballs meets who else?
It was some other list of crazy movies.
Spaceball meets
Flash Gordon.
Yeah, this is what it was.
And
Spaceball meets Who Framed Roger Rabbit meets Flash Gordon meets Indiana Jones meets the Addams Family. And you could recast Christopher Lloyd, his evil character, and put him in Roger Rabbit and put him in as Bison.
Well,
he was the best.
Raul Julia was the only one acting in this whole movie. He was the only one acting.
Poor bastard's his last credit. Then he
I know it's his
fucking
last
croaked.
credit. It's his last credit.
Like he was sick as a dog with cancer on this movie, and
Yeah.
oh.
Did you see what they did at the end of the credits or the end of the movie?
Yeah. We definitely have to talk about that.
For our friend Raul Dios.
Yep. Oh, and then did you stick around for the end credits?
There was an after scene.
I did.
Yeah. He punches on and they said like he like reboots himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just recast that. No worries.
Okay. So
did they ever recast this? Was this a second movie?
There's a whole other world of Street Fighter. There are cartoons and all sorts of other stuff.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, but they never went back to do this ever again. Ever again.
He goes, I'm not going home. I'm going to get in my boat.
Oh,
I'm going to go up the river. I'm going to kick that son of a bitch's bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe will feel it. I was like, yes. Basically, the guy was like, I just need you to write quotes.
Written over the weekend, clearly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Get drunk, get high, whatever the 90s were. Like, what was the major drug in the 90s?
Ecstasy. It's a little bit later.
Yeah, that was ecstasy. Yeah, that was later.
It was whatever it was.
Like you were coming down from
together.
coke. So like, what was it? Was shrooms in the 90s? Nah.
Yeah, but
not Quaaludes. So.
Let's not blame drugs for this movie.
I'm not blaming something.
Like this movie.
This is a sober
because drugs would not make this movie better, which is a key part of drugs in movies.
I really feel bad saying this, but every person in this movie was not good. Like it was just like every line.
The overacting was terrible,
and every line was read with like a pause in between every word. And so like it was just so hard to listen to. You're just like, what is happening?
I felt like I was watching a sketch show. Like like a really bad sketch show. Like here, like even remember the Nickelodeon show with the kids. It was like Saturday Night Live, but kids
that?
No, the other one. What the
Can't
hell
do that
was
on
it
television?
called? Yes. I thought it was like kind of like that. Like, oh, is this what we're watching? Like, this is it was horrible. Right from the beginning. Like, obviously, they were playing towards like certain scenes from the show, from the game, right?
Which
like
ones?
they had. Well, there was the one with all the armies like cleaning up and stuff. That was like the scene where they're just like an airplane and dudes sitting somewhere, like someone's selling something, a merchant is selling something, and they're just fighting, right? And I'm like, all right, so you're playing toward, and then there's like every once in a while, there's like electricity came out. The guy, what's his name, did the punch that like blew, like all of a sudden he had power. I'm like, all right,
for a split second,
and then there's like the uppercut. So like that was there to get the nerds to be happy. But no rhyme or reason. Like, just have him be able to glow. Like, what? Like, he's a human. He has no special powers. Like,
I mean,
what do you mean? Like, he could just do that? Like, he wasn't injected with anything crazy.
No,
like,
God. No. But this movie, I mean, I don't know.
And then the Hulk all of a sudden showed up. He wasn't green he wasn't green.
Yeah, Blanca was green.
Blanca was
green?
Was yellow. Oh, you're right.
Oh, he was green. When you played Blanca versus Blanca, then one of them had to be yellow.
Oh, shit. Damn, you're right. Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
No, hold on. The plot of this movie.
The Force. Why is it?
Isn't even
the
fighting.
Point of this movie?
I don't know. Eric, do you know?
I don't. I literally wrote down on my sheet today when I was watching it. Who is this movie for?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it for fans of the game? No. Is it for fans of Jean-Claude and action movies? No, because the action is piss poor in this. The fight choreography is so bad.
It's really
horrible.
It's that they went clearly for PG, or is this movie PG or PG-13?
PG-13, because he says a couple asses.
Is that why?
And they shoot everybody.
True. Yeah. Dude, he was gonna kill his best friend.
Okay.
In less than 5 seconds.
I could talk about that scene.
Guys, like,
forever.
Help me.
Well,
he's like,
I don't remember.
I was like, I don't remember that scene. I was like, this happened in this movie.
Yep. But like, thankfully, the dude from Temple of Doom was there to stop him.
Bro, I texted Manny immediately. I was like, it's like he went from Temple of Doom to there. It was like he was kidnapped from that island and then brought to Shadaloo to like.
Yeah.
He was wearing the same
Dude,
thing.
I think he was probably on the Indiana Jones set, and they're like, "We need a guy to step in." Like, you come in.
You want to be
He's
Dalsum?
like, do I have to? What are the lines? He goes, "It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say."
He shows up at the end bald. How did that happen?
For no reason. Oh.
Well, because he got thrown into the thing. I wanted to see his stretched out hands.
That's not gonna
like
happen.
They didn't do the stretched out hand. Even if it was like off screen, like where he like saves Dolph Lundgren, not Dolph Lundgren.
Wow, I really missed him.
He saves him, and he's just like, But yeah, it was what a ridiculous plot. Yeah, I was like, right away they also like spoil, like the floating thing.
The
floating cart on? That he has.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's like the first scene. And I'm like, that should have been saved towards the end because in the game, isn't that like the boss? Like, isn't that?
Well, he's the last guy you fight.
Yeah. So like, I felt like that reveal should have been like I would have, as a director, everything. I would have been like, we're going to save this. Cause like, this is the thing that everybody wants to see him on.
No.
Freaking walks in on it.
No, we got to get through. We need to get through every scene as fast as possible to get off this set. And every one of these was the first scene, the first take. All of it, every single thing. And
can we talk about the gamepad?
Go ahead.
That was for the was for the nerds, right? That was for the arcade nerds, the Arcadians. Yeah. Like, let's make.
I don't think that's an Arcadian speech, but I like it.
Like I know a guy who directed a movie called The Arcade Idiots, and
I thought you said Arcadians.
That's what I heard. Arcadians.
I mumble. Sorry. So like,
Mitch,
it was that tree is far away. So that was a terrible scene when he's like blowing up the mines. Using the controller. Like you have this advanced technology, and then that's your controller. Because you wanted to play towards the fact that that's the controller everybody uses when they go to the arcade.
This movie was great.
It was. I wish I want to know stories of like what was going on set. Like, were they taking this seriously?
Well, from what I've heard, and to all the lawyers listening to this might be a false memory, but I think Van Damme was having an affair with Kylie Minogue.
Oh yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
It's on IMDb. It's one of the
so therefore it's absolutely true.
He revealed later that during the film, he had a drug problem doing $10,000 worth of cocaine a week and an affair with Kylie Minogue. Director Steven D'Souza confirmed in 2018 that Van Damme's cocaine addiction caused constant disruptions during filming.
Wow.
They had to wrangle. They had to hire a wrangler to keep an eye on him. But this person was a bad influence himself. The action star would often call in sick, leave the set, show up late or not at all, forcing D'Souza to find other scenes to film in order to make up for lost time. So that makes sense because they were just like filming anything.
Oh my God. The ride of the boat getting to the lair took so freaking long. I'm like, this could have been cut in half. Like, you're like, okay, he's arguing with the lawyer or whoever the negotiator was. Oh no, I'm going to go on the boat. It's only going to be me. And then there's 3 people on the boat anyway. And then we're in the boat and he puts a tape in that shows him and his best friend.
Well, he has to be reminded of why he's going up there to save
Charlie.
That's right.
No, Charlie. Carlos. And then
Carlos, right. Yeah, Charlie.
What? Like, you're a writer, Eric. Like, you do you screenwrite, you know how to do this. Like, when you watch a movie like this, right? Are you just like watching it going like, what does this script look like? How are they doing this?
I think it would be fascinating to get a peek at what the original script for this was. I'm going to give D'Souza the benefit of doubt and say he probably was trying to write what he thought was going to be a fun, good movie. It's not wasn't his intention that it be a flaming turd as it came out. I'll tell you guys this, just promise it's a stupid quick side jaunt. I interviewed Judd.
Please.
Judd
We don't
Nelson.
need to keep talking about this.
I interviewed Judd Nelson once. He was in DC for the GI Film Fest.
Oh, nice.
And I asked him about this horrible movie he was in called it was with him and Shannon Doherty. It was one of those Skinamax like skin flicks, 1995 or Blindfold, Acts of Obsession. Blindfold Acts of
They're
Obsession.
gonna say, like Cat's Eyes.
Yeah.
Poland.
But I'm like, when am I ever going to have a chance? Everybody asked him about Breakfast Club, whatever. I got to ask about Blindfold. And he said one of the most interesting things I've ever heard anybody say in the industry. He goes, nobody sets out to make a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
true.
Yeah.
Which to me is why Snakes on a Plane didn't work, because it knew it was terrible from the get-go. It's, those enjoyable bad movies, they can't know that they're bad. Like Death Wish 3 doesn't know that it's terrible, which is why it's so fucking enjoyable. This movie thinks it's trying, it's failing, but it's not bad on purpose.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say like Spaceballs, right? That was written as satire.
It's parody. Yeah, it's a satire.
Yeah. So like, I understand it's supposed to be. It's so good because it's making fun of these kind of flicks,
right?
Where at first that's why I was like, this looks like a space. Like they were just kidding. Like they were just like, who cares? And I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
Like somebody wrote this.
Right. Manny, your point about it feels like an SNL sketch pulled out to 100 minutes is very on point. I feel, because if you saw this on SNL, you'd be like, yeah, that's funny because it could actually happen if they had Van Damme as the guest host.
Yeah.
Right.
You were serious.
Yeah. We're doing this for an hour 40
Dude,
or an hour.
Pit, him going down the pit way too long. Like, what do we, there's like 4 lines he had to say going down this whole thing. And I'm like, this movie could have been 45 minutes quicker.
Well, this movie only had to be like Bloodsport. This movie should have been just guys fighting.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But
I mean, it's called Street Fighter. I didn't see anybody fight on the street.
No.
Okay.
Maybe Van Damme learned from this because he made The Quest 2 years later, which actually was like more like Bloodsport. It was a tournament movie.
Right.
Whereas there's no tournament in here.
Yeah, because the only time they fight is he kills 2 hostages in that arena.
Which he just like, I don't know how he kills them. Like Darth Vader with no power. It's like, rah. And then
that power goes away when Van Damme shows up. Like he's like, he can't use it. And like, that's the thing. Like, even the fighting scenes, like, did you see the joke about the Godzilla joke?
That was like, what was that?
And they even put the soundtrack in there.
That was ridiculous.
Like, what are we doing here?
What about the Hawaiian music when they were whipping E Honda? But who's not Hawaiian in the game?
Weird.
Like he's Japanese.
Not Hawaiian in the game. Yeah, he's a sumo.
Right.
In the game. Yeah.
Yeah. They made him Hawaiian for the movie.
And then they're just fighting the whole time, but you're not really seeing the fight because it's all close-ups, because obviously they couldn't really get these people to fight. But yeah, they could have made this a tournament, like a Street Fighter tournament. Yeah. But no, they turned this into this like weird, like X-Men type of movie with
no powers.
Because like all of a sudden he is Magneto, he's floating, and he says that's a great line too. He's like, "This is merely superconductive electromagnetism. Surely you've heard of it." Like, what?
First of all,
did he make that up? Is my question.
Raul Julia has some of the greatest lines. First of all, he is like Robert Loggia in like Masters of the Universe, where like when he's playing Skeletor, was it Loggia that was Skeletor?
Oh, it was Frank Langella.
Frank Langella, who had Shakespearean type lines in Masters of the Universe. At some point, there's a quote where Bison goes, "You still refuse to accept my godhood? Keep your own god. In fact, this might be a good time to pray to him, for I beheld Satan as he fell from heaven like lightning." I'm like watching this film, like, where did this So D'Souza was literally writing. Like, I feel like he was just like, all right, I got this. I got one actor who's going to be amazing. I'm going to just feed him all the lines.
Let me paraphrase Paradise Lost. For one scene or something.
And then you have Van Damme going, "I'm the repo man and you're out of business."
What about the collection one? What is it? He says,
that was so stupid.
what he says, it's like you're 6 months past due,
Bro.
and I'm the collector or something like that. It's like I forget now. I had it written down. I can't find it. But
Oh my God. But yeah,
the lines are stupid.
I mean, D'Souza wrote after this, he wrote Judge Dredd. And then I feel like at a certain point it started like, after Die Hard, it was like Die Hard 2, The Flintstones, Beverly Hills Cop 3, like, and Street Fighter. So, look, it happens, right? But at the same time, Street Fighter is like, if you in a weekend, that's a lot of credit to write a whole script in a weekend. Then I guess and something that you probably have no idea about. Right, like you have no idea about what Street Fighter is, and if you don't know it's just a game or you've never played it, then this is probably what happens. This is probably what happens.
Yeah,
like the Super Mario movie.
What was
this
one?
The
first one. Yes, you're right.
Gosh,
this is in comparison to like how bad that was. Although
the
that had like
time.
a plot. That had a better plot than
It did have a wow. That's
like there was like you were kind of like all right, I'm just gonna stick along here. It's not that random. There was some randomness, but like, all right, this was like
all random.
Acid trip. Maybe that's what was in the 90s. Acid.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
Acid came back. LSD came back. Yeah.
So
I'm just gonna say that.
Does anyone have any favorite scenes though from this movie? I know we jumped around. Obviously, that's the nostalgia test. Is what we do. We don't care.
I don't know if I have a favorite scene, but I do remember strictly as a kid the blue camo. Why are they're like their uniform?
Okay.
Is weird to me.
Blue camel.
Camo.
Oh,
camo.
Like, camo. See again, I mumble. Sorry.
There is.
But like the army's like uniforms are not camo. Like they stick out. You can't hide at all.
No.
With what you're wearing.
No.
It was horrible to me. The set design was terrible.
Yeah.
Again, it's because of it's a video game.
I mean, it's $35 million. I mean, they had a lot of money. They had a good budget.
What did it make?
99.5
million. Seriously?
And I was about to post on Instagram.
They profited from this movie.
Critics on Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 11% and gave Cocktail, was it 9 or 8%? So
it was at 5 at one point. I think
critics,
it's at 9 because of us.
Wow.
Still, according to critics,
it's better. They think it's better than Cocktail.
I can't get behind that. I mean,
Ryan Flanagan would be rolling in freaking Coughlin's Law. Bury the dead. They stink up the place. Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it made almost
better than Cocktail.
Yeah.
And it made that much money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the game, man. I mean, you're taking your kids to see this stupid movie,
Yeah.
They're gonna bug you.
I paid for it today.
Shit. Yeah.
I paid $3 to watch this. And I was like, because I couldn't stay. Dan, you gave me a link or something.
Yeah.
And I was watching with ads, and I was like, I need to get through this fucking movie.
It's only 100 minutes long. This is not a long movie either.
Dude, you can't tell me the freaking boat scene. I was like,
you're still hung up on this boat scene.
It just took.
Because
it took the longest scene.
What did a boat ever do to you?
To me, I was like, that boat looks crazy. And it was cool. I remember being look cool. That thing should have been there in seconds.
You know what that boat looked like? It looked like the boat from that Hulk Hogan show.
Thunder in Paradise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thunder in Paradise.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Is like rolling the dice. And
yes.
Still remember that shit.
Man, you just unlocked a memory.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
that's kind of what I do.
Awesome, man.
Eric, do you have a favorite scene or a scene actually that you can go, this scene, okay, or a character? Because I have a couple of people that I'm just like, thank God they were in the movie.
I've got a couple of just moments that genuinely gave me some joy. I'm not going to call them favorites because there's nothing great in this movie or even remotely good. But I will say that the one bit where I'm like, okay, that was a clever bit of writing was Bison gives one of those, John Milton-y Shakespearean diatribes, and one of his fat minions goes, "That was beautiful," or whatever. Yeah. I got a little bit of a chuckle out of that.
Yeah.
Almost despite myself. I'm like, okay, that's kind of a clever little again, it's a little thing.
It's a little, yeah.
It's a little. And then the other things that I wrote down here that just made me chuckle, like the disappointed hookers. Really?
Yeah.
I actually wrote that down here really with 2 question marks.
Wow.
Yeah, those scenes were crazy.
That was
like
weird.
They were toy guns. What was
that? Was
oh my
so
God, that's
stupid.
Right. What the?
What's his name was a terrible human being.
Ken?
Yeah.
Was
it him? Yeah, the
Ken
guy
and Ryu?
Ken and Ryu. Yeah. Ken. Terrible
awful.
Human being.
Horrible.
Terrible. He even says it at the end. He's like, "Thank God I met you because I would have been you."
Yeah. Oh God! According to the trivia, Jean-Claude Van Damme turned down the role of Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat to do this movie.
I don't know if that's a good move or a bad move.
I know. What do you choose? Like, do you want to?
Both movies were just as terrible. I just recently watched the original
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
What are you doing to yourself?
With my nephew.
Oh, okay.
What are you doing to your nephew?
Well, he wanted to watch a bunch of them. I'm frozen. Why am I frozen? Oh,
no,
he wanted to watch a bunch of them, and I somehow got my sister let me watch the new one, which is pretty violent, and I was like, oh, check out the other one. Oh my God, it's terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad.
This movie was bad for everybody. Like, this was according to trivia, like Ming-Na Wen, who played Chun-Li, said that she cringed after seeing the finished film for the first time and told her ER co-star George Clooney that she feared her career would be over. And Clooney casually remarked, "Oh, honey, it takes a lot to kill a career. I should know," hinting at his role in the critically panned Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
So oh my God, yeah.
Also before he did Batman, which was
Batman,
like the worst ever.
This also reminded me kind of like a Batman. Like the set was just, oh God. And now I'm realizing why the boat scene went long, because if you're saying that he needed to shoot all these different scenes because Jean-Claude was like getting coked out, he probably was like, let's fill it in with more boats. Like
more boats.
That's what it is.
I'm gonna get on my boat.
I gotta have more boats.
Yeah.
Could have used more boats. Van Damme's not here.
It's like more boats.
Do you remember that there was a scene where like he's like, game over? I was like, of course you had to do that. Or like
I like my
the guy who plays the stupid Russian dude, and he's
Zangief,
like,
best
change
character.
the channel. Quick, he's a great character.
He was the best actor in the whole movie. The guy who played Zangief, because he knew what he was in. He was just like,
you're right.
I'm gonna try and pronounce his name, Andrew Branaski. He was in that, and he's a former bodybuilder. He's done a lot of.
Was he in
movies.
Revenge of the Nerds? Because he reminds me of that character.
Revenge of the Nerds. Let's see.
Which
No,
but
he
plays
Batman
that
Returns.
character, the stupid guy who turns into a nerd.
Cyborg,
the
3.
jock that turns into a nerd in Revenge of the Nerds. What the heck is his name?
Dude,
I forget his name. I'm gonna have to look it up on it.
I mean, he was so great. He was in Any Given Sunday too.
Oh wow, okay.
And Rollerball. Oh wow. But he was really great.
Really bad remake. Really bad remake.
As you say, he's the only one that knew what movie he was in. Everybody else was trying
really hard.
But that dude was like, yeah, I know this is a paycheck.
And I would say DJ, because the guy who played DJ was just so funny, because at the end when Bison's like, we will stay in here like warriors and take the money, and he's sneaking out the back.
Yeah. Yeah, he thinks he has all this money, and it happens to be Bison's
Bison
like
credits, like Monopoly money.
It's cryptocurrency of its day.
All of a sudden, though, his like Jamaican accent came out at the end. Like in the beginning, it wasn't there, and then all of a sudden, I'm like,
no,
where did that come from?
Well,
not that it was bad, but it's like he just let it go.
They were mixing Street Fighter characters, Street Fighter games. So you had Street Fighter 2, and Street Fighter 2 again, like the ultimate one was, because you had T-Hawk and you had
this guy played 3 different characters.
No. Because what happens is, as the games continue, you had more characters. Tammy and T-Hawk.
You were really into these games, Dan.
Hell
like,
yeah.
You know, like you could write a movie.
Kylie Minogue,
you could write a better movie.
Kylie Minogue, she was Tammy, who was in the next Street Fighter game.
Okay.
And
Wow.
DJ was also in the next one, and also T-Hawk, those three characters. And I think maybe there's one other person. But at the end of the film, they all do their like
Move.
character pose. But that
Yes.
stupid still shot.
Oh, was that what they were? Oh,
That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
She's like,
Yeah, yeah.
like, yeah.
Right, because she would do that when she won the match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It was just
Wow.
Oh my god, I was just so
It's like Bison, you're off the air. Shut up.
oh my god. I
Can
mean,
tell-
but I do want to go back to that Blanca scene because like when I was a kid, I don't remember that because when I saw it again today. And he was literally like, "I'll help you," and he picks up the gun and cocks it and points it to his head.
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't
just
remember
like-
that scene.
You're
I don't
gonna help
either.
him. You're shooting him in the face, and then Temple of Doom comes out of nowhere, and he's just like, "No."
Yeah.
Anyone
He's
wanna
like,
be there?
I'll help you, and then I'll make them pay. That's
But
what
then
his
they
line
die at
was.
the end, right? Blanca
they
and that
don't.
guy
No.
Well, he said he was gonna like maybe he protected him. I don't think they died.
Inconclusive, I would say,
Yeah.
of their fate.
Yeah, I think like they planned on having them survive and be in another movie.
Yeah, I think they should have all died.
I think they should have made them fight more.
Vega wanted to fight.
Vega did want to fight. Can I tell you guys about my favorite edit in this movie?
Yes.
One
Yes.
where I'm like, okay, somebody actually in the editing suite paid attention and did something kind of cool. There, Chun-Li is fighting. Who does she fight near the end of the movie? Is it Sadat?
Yeah, I think so.
Anwar. She fought Anwar Sadat. Remember that? It was Saget, Bob Saget. What was
Yes,
that guy's name?
yes, yeah. The guy with the eye patch.
Right.
Yeah.
Played by Wes Studi. And
It's
there's
so
a
many
moment where she kicks him, and right as it connects with his body, there's a quick edit to Liu Kang kicking Vega, like at the exact. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna give.
Liu Kang.
Yeah, wasn't that his name? Or Ryu?
Ryu.
Ryu. Who's Liu Kang? Is he
From
Mortal Kombat?
Kombat.
Oh,
It's all good.
Oh shit, he's the Asian. All right. The woke
Oh.
police are going to get all over me for
Oh, no.
confusing
That's it.
two different Asian characters from two very
Our podcast
similar
is
brands.
over.
I mean,
Manny, shut it
like
down.
the games weren't just using each other's like the
They
guys.
were
What's his
copying
name? Was
every
Nick
game.
Cage basically?
Right,
Freaking Ken.
Johnny Cage. Yeah,
Nick
Ken.
Cage?
yeah.
No, not Nick Cage.
Johnny Cage was
Johnny
Mortal
Cage.
Kombat.
Yeah.
So they,
Like they were all
Recastes.
they're just using each other's characters.
Let's
Like
recast this,
somebody.
though.
Yeah.
right.
Go ahead,
But-
Eric. Keep
But
going. Yeah.
no, that's fine. Just that cut on that smash cut on that kick between two fights. I actually was gonna. You know what? That's kind of cool.
You mean,
mean,
you
it's-
didn't like the edit where it was the same tattoo? Did you see that one where he's like
Forgot that.
tattoo like jumps at like they zoom in and they zoom out and it's like someone else's thing. But that was a really good edit. Now that you're saying that, I do remember going, "Oh, cool!" Like
Yeah.
that was like the
It-
action
it's-
kept moving. That was like the best action part
Yeah,
because like the action kept moving there.
Are you,
It's-
talking about, yeah. Are you talking about Guile has the American flag on his shirt and then he takes his shirt off and there's an American flag
American
tattooed
flag.
on his fucking arm?
Oh my gosh.
He's so not American.
And
dude.
he
Like,
shows
he's
it.
like-
He's like,
yeah, he can't say, he can't speak. Like, I love Jean-Claude Van Damme,
I
but
know. He's,
a part of me always, when I close my eyes when he's doing that speech, it just sounds like he's Ren from Ren and Stimpy. Like I'm listening, like I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm just like, oh my god, he sounds like Ren. As if I'm gonna open my eyes, and that animated character from Ren and Stimpy is gonna be like, get on the boat.
what about the scene where she throws the tracker?
Dude.
It's so
50
loosely
people
on.
through a tracker.
It's like she flips over, throws the tracker, but it's not like hooked on. It's just kind of like loosely on this truck. I'm like, that's not staying on. You didn't even clip it on. The thing is,
magnetized.
it's just there, and it was a speaker. It was like
Yeah.
a wireless mic,
He did
That's
one
what
of
it
those
was.
things, those like air.
and they're
those-
like, "Oh, we're gonna follow."
yeah, there's one of those things.
And
you
then
put in
she
your
like
luggage.
does like weird ninja moves, like
No reason.
just to get to the basement for no reason. Like you could just walk down, like wait until somebody walks by and just walk down. And she's like, she's got the hood on, and then also she like just takes it off because like all actors have to show their face. Like, why are you taking it off now? Like,
Van Damme is sitting in the morning.
and he's there, he's still waiting. Like he knew she was coming.
Oh,
That's my favorite part.
she was also very not surprised when he sits up underneath the tarp in the morgue too. I mean, she's kind of like,
Right?
not like holy fucking shit. She's
Yeah, she should have roundhouse kicked him in the face.
You should be dead.
Yeah.
And why was he there so long? Because like they would have just pulled him in and he would have been like, all right, we did it. No, he waited for her.
Yep.
No, that was stupid.
And then calls off his subordinate, who is not at all surprised to see his commanding officer suddenly alive after getting shot.
Yeah. No.
Wow. There was supposed to be a sequel.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Although critically panned,
that's why what's his name was still alive at the end.
The movie had actually turned a nice profit, so JCVD was actually working on a sequel in 2003, Street Fighter 2, for Universal, which had released the original. So several cast members had been hired to join him in the sequel, including his Universal Soldier co-star Dolph Lundgren in an undisclosed role. Wow. Kylie Minogue was going to be replaced by Holly Valance, and then Damian Chapa was to reprise his role as Ken Masters. Byron Mann was also reportedly in talks to return as Ryu. But then, however, after a few years of trying to get the sequel off the ground, the project never materialized. So
I think they probably would have written it. It probably would be better than the first one.
It would have been.
Because then, like, you now have more of a storyline.
What?
So,
Well,
a lot of people were mad. I was reading some reviews and they were just like, there was no like build up. You didn't really get to know the characters. And I was like, I don't know. Like sometimes it's like too long of a movie then. Like,
yeah,
you want to like, I guess this was just more about like, you're supposed to know these characters. Like we don't need to have a backstory, but
this I mean, messed up trivia.
This is the type of movie that you need like a series for. I mean, like, cause like, how are you able to tell the backstory to all these people if you don't have a series?
Yeah,
you can't.
You can't.
So apparently Byron Mann, who played Ryu, I think, or Ken, I think it was Ryu. Oh, Ryu.
Better get it right, Dan.
Yep, it was Ryu. So Byron Mann, who played Ryu, told Polygon that while filming in Thailand, the cast didn't like the food, but loved the massage parlors.
Oh dear.
Those are the two girls that were. Those are the two girls that were upset.
Yeah.
No wonder this movie was so bad. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme had a drug problem. He was having an affair with Kylie Minogue. You have this guy, like the whole cast. No one wanted to be there. No one wanted to be there. Like not one single person wanted to do this movie. Wow.
Except for the guy who's dying of cancer.
Raul Julia.
He was like,
gotta leave something behind for
this is my goodbye.
I wish. That's horrible.
Oh
they should just
poor guy.
He did bring a lot of like Gomez Adams into that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
He was like, I'm gonna go out with my character.
He was
that
masterful.
I'm known for it.
Masterful.
Yeah, he was great. He was great. I don't like that stupid thing he was floating on, but he was great. I like it.
Do you guys know anyone that genuinely likes this movie?
Okay,
so genuinely.
I'm going to tell you right now. So before we recorded, I put up a poll on Instagram and on TikTok. So on Instagram right now, the votes are because I do this all the time right now to find out. So right now it is so it's 67% of people said yes, that Street Fighter will pass the nostalgia test, and 33% say no. So now on Instagram, it's winning. And Manny, you saw some of the people that voted yes. First of all, I just want to call out the Movie Boners podcast and be like, guys,
they love everything. The Movie Boners love
thanks
everything.
for letting us come on.
That's why it's called Movie Boners.
Thanks for letting us present on your thing. We really appreciate it.
Have they watched it?
I think this is the thing about nostalgia. And I think Manny and I, this is what we've been learning, Eric.
Well, that's the point of this. This is the point of this podcast.
People think that because something's nostalgic, that it's good. Right. But if you go back and listen to our episode with Georg Charman about nostalgia, we came up with the idea. Obviously, we were like, it doesn't have to be good. No. Something nostalgic doesn't have to be good. This is
just stay nostalgic.
Yeah, sure. And that's fine. But I think people are like misunderstanding. And on TikTok, it's winning again. Yes, it's like 70%. See, that's the thing.
But like, if you asked me to vote before I watched it, I would have been like, it might pass, because I'm thinking 30 years ago, Manny, I'm going, okay, let me unlock my brain
Bro,
memory.
you just have to watch a trailer to this movie and figure it out.
Yeah, but nobody's doing that when they're voting on Instagram and Twitter. So I would have probably been like, maybe, right? But then I watched it and I'm like, so these people didn't watch it. There's no way. Although, remember Billy said Airheads passes the test, and he had just watched it. Have you seen that, Eric?
I have, not since the year that Street Fighter came out.
Judd Nelson was in that movie.
That's wow.
Judd Nelson was in that.
I remember not liking it at the time, just like Street Fighter. I remember not liking it at the time. So my nostalgia for this Street Fighter isn't there, I guess. Is in the way that but that's a fascinating thing. What was it that your friend sent?
Freaking miserable. Dude, they loved it. Like this kid, the guy's like, oh my God, it was so good. It still passes. It still slaps. I'm like, what slaps about it? It is. I was angry at it.
Because Billy has come on to some amazing episodes. He did the Roadhouse episode. He did the Die Hard episode, Rocky Balboa. And all good episodes. Rocky Balboa episode, if I can recommend one, it's like one of my favorite to re-listen to. But and the 3-part WWE series that we did.
Billy was on for that too. Yeah.
But Airheads, I'm getting really worried about the 90s. It's funny. There's good movies in the 90s. We did Scream.
There is.
And that was really good. But yeah, Street Fighter and
Green Day passed the test. Dookie passed the test so far.
Yeah.
Wow, same year. Yeah, 30 years since Dookie.
30 years ago.
Damn.
We have yet to watch Powder.
Yeah, Powder's on the list.
Oh man. Wow.
I saw that in the movie theaters, and then I haven't seen it since.
Oh my God. You want to talk about scenes that are like engraved in my head. There's like that the cafeteria scene where like all the spoons fly up. There's so many scenes. Like, doesn't he like go to the woman's house to try to save the guy? I don't know what that
movie's about.
Woman has cancer or something, and the guy
the Green Mile.
Oh, I don't know. I'm messing up. Right? Do you remember that, Eric?
I remember.
He has like electromagnetic fields that he can like help people.
It was.
I think someone tries to tell like one of their wives is dying, like the principal or something at the school who's scared of him, right? Or is it Green Mile?
Then Stephen King stole that and put that into Green Mile. Then
maybe, bro, we got to watch that movie just for that reason.
Yeah, it was. What's that? Robert Sean Leonard or Sean Robert Leonard? The guy who was young Indiana Jones. He was Powder.
Oh,
the hell was his name?
That's right.
It was some three name of those three first names. I don't remember if it was Sean Robert Leonard or Leonard Robert Sean.
Powder movie. I have to look this up because this is a good tangent that we have to like chase.
Dude, we have to do it. I mean, that movie was like
Sean
about inclusivity.
No, Sean Patrick Flannery was.
Everybody in that movie is canceled.
Right, because it was directed by a child molester. Let's not forget that.
Oh, that's right.
That was the big controversy.
It was about being like inclusive to like this person who's different.
Jeff Goldblum was in that movie. Mary Steenburgen.
Oh my God.
Steenburgen.
Wow.
Lance Henriksen.
Dude, there was big names in that movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Remember when they throw him into the puddle, like naked.
Dude, that movie's messed up. We're gonna have to rewatch it.
The bullying in that movie is crazy.
All right. So, any final words on Street Fighter before we put this to the test? Because it's obviously, I don't know what's happening anymore. I wish I would.
I think this episode goes just as good as crazy as the movie goes. Like, we're just all over the place.
I'm disappointed there wasn't like one Jean-Claude Van Damme split. Not a single split.
Yeah.
No splits.
But he did do the flying kick.
He flew,
out of
and he literally
chamber.
Flew.
Yep.
Yeah.
He jumped and then flew. And I was
Didn't he also do the little like the twirl
spin
kick?
Yeah,
the spin kick.
Sort of. Yeah, they did some breakdancing.
They should have done the split. You're right. Like he was known. He even did that in Time Cop. Like
he did.
Right.
He had to get off the floor because they shot electricity on the water.
Yeah, dude. I remember like he's in boxers.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
But that's when he would do splits in underwear or naked. He would always
Of
have
course.
buns out.
So that's the
or in
thing. They
splits.
didn't have him naked. Oh, what
It's rated
about
PG-13,
last
no
thing
buns.
on Street Fighter when is it Ryu?
Ryu.
He takes off his gi just so he could go shirtless. Like when they pull the patch off, he's like they pull the patch off again, and then Ryu has to take his gi off. I'm like, okay, sure.
Manny, not only that, but he has his gi back at the end after escaping the temple shirtless. And my buddies and I, we noticed that when we were 15. You're like, oh, come on, even we can. We know what a continuity error is, but nope. Ryu had his gi back on after getting out of the exploding temple.
True. Right at the end, yeah.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. I love that. But like, there was another that was so funny to me. It was like when Raul Julia had Chun-Li in his room and they were talking or whatever. You know, this weird scene, but then she breaks her, whatever handcuffs. But she's changing, strong. And he takes one hat off to put another hat on. He's got a bunch of bison hats.
It's like Mr. Rogers thing.
Exactly. He was just like, what?
Yeah.
All right, let's take this. And he's in a robe. I'm like, yo.
He loved that logo, man. He even wanted that building to look like that logo.
The mall.
The mall.
Bisonopolis.
Yeah.
I wrote that down so I wouldn't forget it.
Yes. This movie was exhausting.
And the other what can I just say one last thing?
No, keep going. If you want, okay. Whatever.
So Bisonopolis and that editor, and if you guys remember, Bison had a chandelier that was made out of skulls or something like that.
What the hell was that?
That came from the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Yeah. So there were talented people working on this movie and giving it their all. We only see the 100 minutes that didn't hit the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many very talented people working to make, they don't want to make a piece of shit. Granted, you got to have a paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to what Judd Nelson says, like, we're not going to get 300 people together on purpose to make crap. It might turn out crap.
Just remember, like, the hostage, like, where they were being kept. Like, that's a huge set. Like, that set was done really well. It was
all practical, yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is before CGI and stuff. So, like, a lot of that was really done really, really well. But, man.
But for what?
They were trying, like Eric said, they're trying to make a good movie.
It was like watching Judge Dredd, actually. Like, I was remembering, like, the set of Judge Dredd and it being, like, cartoony like that. I was like, wow.
Did you see some of the dubbing mistakes?
I thought that was on purpose. That shit was on purpose.
Really? No, I think there was like two. I think if you look at IMDb, there's like 4 of them that were like messed up.
My favorite scene, though, one of my favorite parts, though, too, one of the exchanges with Guile, when he's like, Colonel, one person in a boat, the driver would have to be out of his mind. Jean-Claude Van Damme's like, luckily, Bison has driven me out of my mind.
Like, so mad. Crazy that he's driven me out of my mind. So I'll be driving
synchronize your watches.
I'll be driving the boat and then putting on a what was it? Not even a VHS. It was like
the handheld tape. It was like
the like handheld. Like what was the size of that? I remember there's a term for it, but that almost gave me Iron Eagle vibes. Like, where's the tape deck? Like let me put this on. Chappie's gonna talk to me. Like, what?
Dude, I wish Chappie was in this movie.
Oh man,
a lot of torture in this movie too. Let's not forget that.
A lot of what?
Just torture to get information by the good guys.
I know.
Total Jack Bauer shit going on in this movie.
It was not good. It like started in the middle of a story, and then you had the beginning, and then everything explodes. And they were in
the cage fight, where Ryu had to fight
Vega,
and like that whole scene took forever. Again, they had to do the presentation. They like doing a thing. He's dancing. I'm like, he even did like the move like in Mike Tyson's Punch Out, the French guy. Like he did like a weird what the heck's going on? I don't know.
They were trying to like put everything they could.
That's like I also that reminded me of like that's where like Wolverine used to fight, like in that kind of cage. Yeah. Anyways, all right, let's get to this.
Let's do this.
Eric, do you know like the parameters of our test?
I sent them the rubric.
All right.
You did.
The rubric.
I gotta find it again.
Like, so
basically, yeah.
So
go
there's
ahead, Manny.
like, the way we do it is like, to pass the test means it's like, it's not only nostalgic, but it's like good now. Like, you would keep watching it now. You believe that people, like someone of the age of 13 would watch this and be like, this is good.
You'd recommend it.
And you'd recommend it. Then there's the stays nostalgic, where it's good, but it's just good because you remember good things about it. It reminds you of being that at that time and you being with friends and all that stuff. Or it's freaking horrible. Put it to bed. We call it Three Musketeers bad. Not Three Musketeers the movie, but Three Musketeers. And I'm sorry if you like nougat. Three Musketeers bar, because we put Three Musketeers bar to the test once, and I was like, what the fuck is this bar? Okay, this bar is terrible. What is nougat? You need more than this. So it's either that or we like to call it Take Off Your Pants and Jacket bad. I don't know if you like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket album, but we re-listened to it and we were like, this is pretty fucking bad. Okay. So that's how we kind of roll.
I got your rubric.
Or maybe
I'm gonna go
Street
first.
Fighter bad.
Yeah, now it's going to be Street Fighter. No, what was the recent one that we were like, this is pretty bad? Oh, no, it was Airheads. I'll go first.
It might be out right now. Go ahead.
This is not even nostalgic. Like, it was for a moment, and I just think it's just bad. And there is 90s trash that's good, but this is like real 90s trash. This is like dumpster 90s trash, like on fire trash.
Yeah.
Like, I could get through bad movies. Like, some of my fondest memories is watching like C- movies and D+ movies. And I'm like, yes, this movie doesn't even get there. Doesn't like what you were saying, Eric, like where they don't like, it's so cheesy that it's good. This doesn't even get there. Doesn't even get there. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in and then just say, yeah, I agree, Manny. It was 100 minutes and it was so difficult to get through. I had to stop it so many times. It took me 2 days to watch. Like I really could not get through it. And then I also was like doing other stuff and I was like, oh shit, that's right. I have to rewind this. And every time I had to rewind it, I was like, I cannot believe I'm rewinding this right now. And there's nothing to watch. And the thing is, like, I remember when we did the Airborne episode, and I was just like, I hated that movie. I hated it. I would rather watch Airborne 5,000 times in a row.
Yeah, and you did not like that movie at all.
But and the thing is, like, Street Fighter could have been good. Yeah. They just overcomplicated. And
bro,
look,
Snake is so fast in Airborne.
No, nothing is fast in Airborne. It's bro, so slow. They have the slowest wheels on the planet. But
Jack Black freaking shined in that movie.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, this movie, I feel so. It was the night. I'm so scared to watch Hackers now because.
Oh, it's not going to be good. We can't.
No.
We are going to watch it. But
Hackers is fun. Hackers is fun.
Yeah, you think it's fun?
And you know why?
Well, because of skating, because of rollerblading.
We need a Matt. We need you like this.
Yeah,
this
Scream
had nobody that had any sort of. No one wanted to be there.
No,
it seemed like, and the lines were terrible. I feel bad saying that because Die Hard's fucking genius, but like this was a miss. So yeah, it's not even nostalgic. It's really not good.
Like, I'll do the interview if you wear that dress. Like
what the fuck was that?
Hashtag me too. I mean,
yeah, seriously, that was just like, yeah, it was like it's like he did a bump off his hand before, like he was like, oh, if you wear that dress, it's like,
well, they needed to put that in there.
He's like,
the 90s. Come on.
I've got the perfect line, Steven. Watch this. He will wear that dress for the interview. I don't know if Belgian people go or not. Or if it's
I'll take it.
Eric, go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna say this as a fan of Three Musketeers. Sorry to say that, man.
It's all good. It's fine.
I did not like this movie when I was 15. I don't like it now that I'm 45. And there's going to be something seriously wrong with me if I'm fortunate enough to be around in 30 more years and I watch this on purpose at 75.
Yeah.
Like something seriously fucking wrong.
Yeah. I wasting your time. You could watch anything else.
Yes. I don't know. Yeah. Either the drugs they're giving me are terrible, or I am so in the
someone's
throes
torturing
of dementia
you.
that I'm in dementia and I genuinely don't remember watching this. that I'm like, oh, this looks vaguely familiar. I've never seen this before. I don't have kids, so I want to have grandkids. Like, Grandpa, you used to tell us how horrible this movie was. Why are you watching? I don't remember. So that's conceivably the only way I would ever watch this movie again, is if I've genuinely forgotten it. Those synapses in my brain have just forgotten that this movie exists. It's not fun. It's not good, bad. It's not enjoyable. I felt kind of annoyed watching it by myself this time, because at least if I had you guys or other people around share the pain as it's going.
And then you're like kind of laughing about it because you're like all talking back and forth.
Or like, hey, let's do a shot that every time Van Damme says something you can't understand him.
Yeah.
But so to me, no, this Street Fighter does not pass the nostalgia test.
Nice.
Not even close.
Not even close. No. Yeah. Wow. Well, this is not bode well for the 90s so far, but like we have to definitely like watch some other stuff, Manny. But
yeah, so we do a couple common questions. I'm gonna jump on before we go. Eric, the Three Musketeers bar. So you're a fan of this.
I am a fan, not ironically.
Straight up.
Oh yeah.
Just nougat. You like nougat.
I like nougat.
Okay.
I do. Yes, I do.
So
that's gonna be a quote from this episode.
The Milky Way.
Oh no, I love Milky Way and Snickers more.
Okay.
I love it.
But you are a fan. You'll have this Three Musketeers and you don't think,
See, when you said Three Musketeers, I thought you were going to the Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt movie. That's where
we haven't watched it yet, so I can't put that. I do have to rewatch it. We haven't. But like, did you know that the Three Musketeers was all originally came in 3 colors? The 3 different flavors. It was strawberry and chocolate and regular nougat.
That would make a lot more sense.
We found that out by putting this to the test. Dan has facts all the time, and it started out that way. What is that called? That ice cream that it's
Neapolitan.
Yes. So, and then I guess the other 2 weren't selling as well, so they just straight up went like nougat.
Chocolate.
And I just need the caramel and the Snickers. Like
I guess
just like,
it's not for everyone. No, but I'll never look at a Three Musketeers the same way again.
Okay. They should bring back the other 2 just for nostalgic reasons.
And I presented at the Southwest Popular Culture Conference like last weekend, and we were talking about, I was sharing some things that I learned from the podcast, and one of them was Pringles can't legally call itself a potato chip, which was always an interesting fact I learned, because it's pressed potato paste, and they press it into that shape, so it's not a chip.
It was actually engineered to be a perfect shape
by like a
chip.
mathematician.
Wow. Yeah. The guy had to show a blueprint like of how this chip was going to look. It's crazy.
Dan, I don't know sorry. Is Drew Casper still teaching at USC? Do you have any knowledge about
I don't know.
He was a film professor when I was there, but he talked about Pringles as the postmodern potato chip. In Cinema 190, he's like, there's no potato chip anymore. There's nothing original about it. That's what postmodernism is. I'm like, okay, calm down.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Man, do you have any other questions? Or
I'm
going to leave space for you.
The Rocky rankings.
Yeah, Eric, we asked a lot of guests this. Like, have you seen all the Rockies?
I have seen all of the Rocky
to Rocky Balboa,
Rocky adjacent, with the exception of Creed 3.
Okay, so
we only ask up to Rocky Balboa.
Okay, all right.
You got to give us its own thing at this point.
Okay, all right.
You got to give us your favorite to least.
Okay,
in number order.
I'm going to write this down,
and you will be judged.
Right. Okay,
you'll be judged
how you do this.
And for the record, this is not in order of quality of the movies.
We know.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get it. Believe me, ours is the same way.
Okay, so we're going up to Rocky Balboa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to start with my just the ones that I enjoy the fuck most out of. Rocky 3 is like far and away favorite. Okay. I watched that again about a year ago, and it's
it's good.
It's a good one.
It's right on that edge of being self-parody, but not yet self-parody, which is what Rocky 4 is, but I put Rocky 4 at number 2, because again, it's so fucking enjoyable. It's just insanely fun. Then, it's hard after that. I'll put Rocky OG at that point, just because it's great. Then probably Rocky Balboa. And then Rocky 2 is it's fine. It's not great. It's fine. And then the less said about Rocky 5, the better.
There you go. 3, 4,
Yo,
1,
those
6,
are solid.
2, 5.
A 3-4-1 is a good, because like I agree. Like there was times that I actually usually it was like a 4. Mine was like a 4-1-3, and then I went to a 4-3-1. But then like sometimes I am like I'd rather watch 3 because there's like so much to 3. There's like him losing, Mickey dies, and then him like coming back, and like the Apollo and the bromance of jumping in the beach together. Like, so good. So like it's just so good. Yeah. And then, but then 4, of course, is like a music video. It's like the 80s quintessential, like 80s montage in a montage in a montage. Yeah. Like
I must break you.
Is that we always joke around like that movie was just made to be a music video. Like,
absolutely,
that's all it was.
No question about it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so funny because like it's rare that we get someone to agree on the placing of Rocky 2 because. For me, you can't watch Rocky 2 on its own. If you're gonna watch Rocky 2, you have to watch 1, and then you just immediately have to watch 2. Because I've never met a person that's like, "Hey, let's just throw in Rocky 2." It's like we're not doing that.
Never,
dude. The first like half hour to an hour of the film is just like him reading to her, or no? Like is that isn't she in a coma?
He's learning to read, and then when she's in a coma, there's so many scenes of him reading. I don't know what book he's reading.
No.
Yeah, it's so long. Like again, it's not a standalone film. The film doesn't exist by itself. And 3 does. Like you can watch 3 and jump in and be like, I'm cool.
You could sit down with Rocky 3 and somebody who's never seen a Rocky movie and they would know everything.
Yes.
That's right.
Having no knowledge of who any of these characters are or any backstory. You can jump right in with Rocky 3 to a neophyte and be like, this is fucking great or this is terrible.
And it's because,
they'd get a whole story.
Yeah, because at that point, like the Rocky films are starting to do that thing. It's like we don't really care what the timeline is. We're just going to do whatever, and that's what they do. And especially in terms of like Rocky 4 to 5, it's like the kid changes. That's only supposed to be a couple months. Like he flies back.
He's gone for years.
It seems like obviously years have passed because of the movies, right? But it looks like he's been gone for about a decade. Like, and they come back and the house is different. Like the house is in a different location, like in Rocky 5. And so like it's
Paulie fucked everything up.
It's unbelievable how that happens. But yeah, I think Rocky 6, like the Rocky Balboa, is like a sleeper. That movie was great.
It's good.
I love watching.
I like Rocky Balboa.
It's better than it should be, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Rocky 5 is a disaster.
Oh
my God.
So bad.
Yeah, awesome. Wow.
I would say Rocky 5 is better than this movie, though.
Ooh.
I would watch Rocky 5 probably before
I would watch Tommy Gunn over freaking watching this movie again.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry. Go for it. Why don't you hit me for a while?
Hey, Tommy, I didn't hear no bell.
I didn't hear no bell. Sue me for what?
Let's take this to the ring. My ring's outside.
My ring's outside.
You guys know this Rocky 5 a lot better than
me. We did a marathon.
Yeah, we did a marathon of Rocky.
Oh my God. We did a marathon. Had a bunch of guests on.
Oh, nice.
Killed us.
Check them all out. They're really good.
We actually haven't done marathon really since because we were like exhausted.
Of course you were.
Our mental capacity, not even just like coming on the show, just like being like, oh my God, I just watched 6 movies. And like, even though so Rocky 5 to me is like what I was saying. Like I sometimes enjoy really bad movies. Like that's a movie that I'm like, I'd much rather watch that because there is kind of like a plot where this movie was not. Like, no way. Like
and Rocky 5 is a Christmas movie.
It is.
He fights on Christmas.
He does fight on Christmas. He fights on Christmas in Rocky.
He fights
Rocky
4.
Rocky 4. He leaves a kid. He leaves his freaking kid on Christmas.
In Rocky 4, he fights, loses all his money. He fights on Christmas, loses all his money.
Yep.
Rocky, a year later, he fights again.
Yep.
On Christmas.
With
brain damage.
With brain damage.
Unbelievable.
Christmas, man. The whole thing's around Christmas. He ruins Christmas.
Crazy. Anyway, oh my God.
Well, man, tangents like crazy.
But everyone, so Street Fighter unanimously Horrible movie, not even nostalgic.
You got it wrong, Instagram.
You got it wrong, Instagram and TikTok. I don't know what you're thinking. Like, you got to rewatch these things. Like, if you're gonna vote, like,
no, don't
knowledge.
rewatch this thing.
We've done it,
so you don't have to.
If you voted yes, you have to rewatch it. I'm forcing you all to do it. It's an assignment. But Eric, thank you so much for being on. This was super fun.
Thanks.
Why don't you tell everyone like where they can find your writing and everything, plug whatever you want to plug. So
thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. So you can read my stuff at screencomment.com. I can also be found on the Washington Post website. I write music reviews for readjunk.com, bunch of other places, and you can find my bio on the community colleges of Vermont, where I teach writing as well. So, and awesome. Give out a lot of bad grades.
Oh, God.
Well, Dan, you know what it's like trying to teach people.
Oh my God.
So, but wow. Yeah, and doing stuff like this is my jam. So I can't thank you guys enough for having me today. This was a real fun experience for me. I'm
so happy that you did not ignore my email when I emailed you back after 2 years.
2 years ago.
And thank you so much. We have to have you back on to do a Nostalgia 101, talk all about writing and everything, because it'll be super fun.
I look forward to it.
But everyone, if you liked this episode, share it with everyone that you know. Screenshot a review and a rating and tag us at the Nostalgia Test on Instagram and TikTok and Threads. And tag
let us know if we got it wrong.
Post it. Yeah, let us know if you like Street Fighter. I think you're wrong, but let us know. Follow us on X at
the game
Nostalgia
definitely
Test.
Passes the Nostalgia Test.
The game does.
Game is good.
Yeah.
And then also you'll if you want to watch some of our the new episodes on YouTube, follow us on YouTube at the Nostalgia Test, and I'm actually putting up older episodes slowly, and you can see the new Mrs. Doubtfire episode 77 is up, and you can watch the full video of that. And the WWE full episode is back up on YouTube after a copyright issue, and we're back, so you can watch the We're watching all 3 parts in one episode, 2 hours of some of the most amazing WWE conversations.
Some people did say that we got a couple of those answers wrong.
Yeah, well, they
I think they're wrong.
They got Vince McMahon to the mat, eh?
They didn't. I don't think they agree with like our choice of like best wrestler of all time. So
we chose Shawn Michaels, right?
We did.
Well,
some argue that it's Steve Austin, but but like our criteria was like
Shawn Michaels.
Everything.
I'm sorry.
The acrobatic.
Not Kurt Angle. Interesting.
Well, I mean, okay. I think.
Sorry, I'm gonna.
No, it's all good.
I think it was because we saw Shawn Michaels, like how long he lasted, kind of all the way up, and how many things he was able to do. I think that's what we ended up talking about.
Yeah, that was like the ladder match, like the fact that he was like high flying, also charismatic, great on the mic. Yeah, was able to change the DX generation. Not to say that Kurt
ushered
Angle,
in that attitude.
I mean, Kurt Angle is really good, and he had, to me, one of my favorite matches of all time against Shane McMahon. The fact that the glass didn't break and they kept going, and he had like a broken neck throughout the whole. Yeah. What a great match! But we voted Shawn, even though everybody argues that it's Stone Cold.
And he had the best theme song too.
Oh,
just a sexy boy.
Sexy boy. And
he was a stripper, right? Sherry. He was like, that was just a stripper. He was just basically, his character was a stripper.
And he had Sherry. I mean, which
he
was
did have
really
Sherry, man.
Oh my God! No,
didn't Sherry go to Booker T for a little while?
Yeah, there's a great clip of that.
She has that great clip where he drops the N-word like while he's talking, and he like goes, he's like, and he goes like this, and she's like,
just has to keep going.
Yeah, Mean Gene just has to keep going.
He's like, show must go on.
Whatever. Here we go,
dude. That clip is everywhere now. Yeah. It's so funny. They're like, yeah, when you drop the N-word and you still gotta like protect, like
Booker T.
Mean Gene was like so good, and Sherry was like, kind of like helping the situation out too. So,
yeah, Booker T is amazing too.
Yeah, he's really good.
But anyway,
he's still on it. He's like shows up every once in a while.
All right, everyone, another tangent right there at the end. Enjoy that one. But yeah, follow us, like the podcast, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next test, everybody. Peace.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. Please subscribe to the Nostalgia Test podcast to know when new episodes drop. Don't forget to leave us 5 stars and a positive review so more people can find the podcast. Share your thoughts and memories on today's topic on our Twitter at Nostalgia Test and on Instagram at The Nostalgia Test. Tune in next time because you never know what pop culture will pop up on The Nostalgia Test.